Last year, 5 of her players reportedly transferred to different programs. And this year, a reported 10 of the team's 12 players aren't planning on coming back.
Just because you...
You won't believe what Sheryl Swoopes just said. After weeks of silence and swirling controversy, the basketball legend has finally spoken out about her sudden coaching ban from the Chicago Sky. And fans are completely stunned. What really happened behind the scenes? Why was one of the WNBA's most respected figures removed from her role with zero explanation? In this exclusive response, Sheryl doesn't hold back. She dives into the real reasons she was let go, the emotional toll it took, and the message she has for the entire league. And trust us, it's not what anyone expected. Social media is already on fire with reactions. Some are siding with Sheryl, calling it a bold stand against silence and mistreatment. Others are questioning the league's decision and demanding answers. This isn't just another sports headline. It's a moment that could shake the WNBA at its core. Tap in now to hear Sheryl's side of the story. Raw, unfiltered, and powerful. Because once you hear what she has to say, you'll understand why fans are calling this one of the most shocking moments in WNBA history. For weeks, fans were left wondering what happened to Sheryl Swoopes. One of the greatest names in women's basketball had vanished from the spotlight without a statement. Without a press conference, without a single word. Silence, then, out of nowhere, she broke it. And what she said has left the entire basketball world stunned. Sheryl Swoopes is more than just a former player. She's a pioneer. A 3-time 1B MVP, a 4-time champion, an Olympic gold medalist. And recently, she took on a new challenge coaching the next generation as an assistant with the Chicago Sky. But something went wrong. Suddenly, she was gone from the team. Her name quietly removed. No announcement. No comment. Just ... not erased. Fans were confused. Where was Sheryl? What happened behind the scenes? Rumors swirled. Some thought it was personal, others believed it was political. But no one had answers. Until now. Sheryl Swoopes has finally decided to speak. And when she did, it wasn't just a response, it was a statement. She opened up about what really happened, why she believes she was pushed out, and how deep the silence in professional sports can truly run. And after hearing her story, fans were left with one question. Was she silenced? OA? Or was she simply the only one brave enough to speak? Before there was controversy, before the confusion and silence, there was respect. And not just respect, there was admiration, legacy, and history. Sheryl Swoopes didn't just play the game, she changed it. She was the first woman ever signed to the WNBA, a 3-time league MVP, a 4-time champion with the Houston Comets, 3 Olympic gold medals, and a name that will forever be etched into the foundation of women's basketball for many fans, especially those who grew up watching the WNBA's earliest days. Sheryl wasn't just an athlete, she was the standard. Confident, fearless, and always one step ahead on the court. After stepping away from professional play, Sheryl kept a lower profile. She did some commentary work. She mentored young players. She stayed close to the game but never fully in it till 2023. That year, the Chicago Sky brought her back in, not as a player, but as a coach, an assistant role. Low-key, but with high impact, it was a perfect match. A team with potential, a veteran with unmatched knowledge. Players were excited to learn from her. Fans were thrilled to see her back. And the media recognized it as a smart move, bringing in a legend who had lived the highs and lows of the league on the sidelines. She was a natural, intense, focused, vocal. She didn't just sit there quietly, she coached, she advised. She pushed players to do better, to be smarter, to stay sharp. She wasn't trying to steal the spotlight. She was trying to pass it on. But something shifted quietly. Slowly, behind the scenes, there were rumors of friction. Whispers of disagreements between staff, subtle signs that something wasn't right. nothing public, nothing confirmed. But the energy around her presence started to feel different, and then she was gone. No tweet, no statement, no press release, not even a quote. Her name was just removed from the Chicago Sky coaching staff page. Fans noticed. Fast. Some thought. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe her role had changed. Maybe she was just on leave. But as time went on, no updates came. No articles. No interviews, nothing. It felt like she had been erased. And when a legend disappears like that without explanation, people start asking questions. Not just about what happened, but why no one was saying anything. Sheryl Swoopes had spent her life giving to the game now. Suddenly, the game was turning its back on her. When the silence stretched longer, the questions only got louder. Fans took to social media asking where Sheryl Swoopes had gone. Why hadn't the team said anything, Kay? Why hadn't the Wanba acknowledged her absence? It felt strange. It's quiet. And in the absence of facts, speculation took over. Some fans thought maybe it was a personal matter of health issues, family responsibilities, something private that didn't need to be public. Others believed there was more to the story. Maybe she'd had a disagreement with management. Maybe there was tension in the locker room. Maybe she'd challenged something someone and paid the price for it. Clips began to resurface. Moments where Sheryl looked serious, focused, even frustrated. On the sidelines, nothing dramatic, just subtle signs that, in hindsight, felt like clues. People dissected every shot, every comment, trying to piece together a story no one was telling. Sports media stayed mostly quiet.
The allegations come just after the six-time WNBA All-Star was inducted into the National Basketball Hall of Fame.
You know, things weren't always the best, things weren't always easy, but I always
mostly quiet. A few blogs touched on her disappearance, but without an official statement, there wasn't much they could say. It was all theories, whispers, comments, underposts. The Chicago Sky kept moving forward. They adjusted their coaching staff, carried on with the season, but never addressed her absence publicly. It was as if nothing had happened, and that made people even more uneasy. How could a figure like Sheryl Swoopes vanish from a major 1BE team without a word? No one thanked her. No one defended her. No one even acknowledged her. In a league built on empowering women, on raising voices and breaking barriers, this silence felt heavy. It felt intentional. And for many fans, it felt wrong. The more time passed, the more the mystery grew. And by the time Sheryl finally decided to speak, people weren't just curious. They were ready to listen. Then, out of the silence, came her voice. Sheryl Swoopes finally decided to speak. Not through a press release, not through a filtered team statement, but in her own words, on her own platform, in a calm but firm tone. She laid everything out. Not to attack, not to stir drama, but to tell the truth, her truth. She started by addressing the obvious. No, she hadn't left voluntarily. She had been asked to step away, not for breaking any rules, not for performance, but, in her words, because she refused to stay quiet. She spoke about meetings where she raised concerns, decisions she questioned, patterns she noticed. She didn't name names, but the message was clear. She had challenged the system, and the system didn't like it. She talked about standing up for players, about moments where she felt something wasn't right and said so. And each time, the response was cold, shut down, avoided. Then came the part that hit the hardest. I wasn't just dismissed, she said. I was disrespected. She described how it felt to be erased, how it felt to watch a team she poured energy into move forward without a word. No phone call, no explanation. Just gone. But she didn't speak from a place of anger. She spoke from experience. From years in a league she helped build. From decades of giving her all to the game, only to be pushed aside when her presence made people uncomfortable. She said she knew speaking out might cost her opportunities, friendships, future roles. But staying silent would have cost her even more. "I didn't come back to be quiet," she said. "I came back to lead." And just like that, the silence that had surrounded her turned into something louder than anyone expected. Fans weren't just listening. They were reacting. And what came next proved that her words had started something much bigger than a personal statement. They had opened a floodgate. The moment Sheryl's words hit the internet, the reaction was immediate and massive.
University is looking into the program amid accusations that she mistreated her players. According to reports, 5 members of the team transferred last season, and this year, 10 of 12 players asked for releases to transfer.
Fans flooded social media with support. Hashtags like #StandWithSWOOPES and #RespectOurLegends started trending within hours. For many, it wasn't just about Sheryl's story, it was about everything she represented. Comments poured in from players, former teammates, coaches, and even casual fans who had followed her career for decades. Some called her brave, others called her bold. But nearly everyone agreed on one thing: she deserved better. People began revisiting her career, posting highlights from her playing days, interviews from the past, old footage of her leading teams, and speaking her mind. It reminded everyone just how much she had contributed not just to basketball, but to the culture of women's sports. Some WNBA players chimed in subtly, liking posts, sharing quotes without adding their own words. Others were more direct, posting messages of support and appreciation for what Sheryl had done both on and off the court. A few voices were more cautious. Some fans worried that maybe there was more to the story, something we still didn't know. But even they admitted that the way she was removed, without clarity or closure, felt deeply wrong. What stood out most was how emotional people felt. It wasn't just about a coach leaving a team. It was about visibility, about legacy, about how easily even the most iconic figures could be silenced when they became inconvenient. Her story tapped into something deeper, feeling many women in sports and in the workplace in general know too well the idea that speaking up can cost you everything. But Sheryl had spoken anyway, and that courage sparked something. Not just a conversation, but a collective reflection, because if someone like Sheryl Swoopes could be pushed aside so quietly, it made people wonder how many others had been treated the same way. If this story moved you, don't just scroll past. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Sheryl Swoopes was wronged? Or is there more to this story than we know? Hit that like button if you believe legends deserve respect. Subscribe for more untold stories from the world of sports, and most importantly, share this video. Because silence ends when we choose to listen.